crafters, welcome back to my channel. And our next tutorial number 3, some of this I'm going to go through a little bit quicker, and then I'm going to finish some things offline because I don't want these tutorials to get too long when decisions can be made later on about the pattern paper. So this is using the collection called What's Brewing by Country Craft Creations, and I'm using the 12 by 12 and the 12 by 12 artisan cardstock in, oh, I always blank on it, craft. I'm so sorry. And so I'm going to show you what I've done with our last page that we worked on together was this page. And I need to put pattern paper in here and on here and finish putting those pattern papers on there. But we're going to get started on this page right here. And what I have planned for this page is I want to put on here 2 of these flaps. And these flaps are 5 by 7. So I think that I cut them at 5.5 by 7. Let me just check. Yes, 5.5 by 7. And I cut 2 of those right here. Now we can do one of 2 things. I can go ahead and I can glue them down to the page, or I can glue them down to this paper and then glue it down to the page. So I think I'm going to do that this time, to glue it down to the paper. And we will go from there. Got our pages here. So this one is going to be on the bottom, and I just need to make sure that this folds. Oh, I'm going to put it up just a little bit to the bottom, probably about 1/8 of an inch up. Make sure it's going in there evenly. And there we go. Well, I've got that pretty close to the bottom. I was going to go a little higher with that, but not a worry. And then we'll get this one down. And these, I also mitered the hinges on these and put that down onto here. And sometimes I've seen some crafters go ahead and put their papers on, or put their album together like this, and they build their base from their patterned paper. So the other thing that I'm going to do is I have a magnet on here. So I have it set up so that I can set it down right away. So what I'm going to do is just to pull that over to here, and then we've got our magnets on our page. All right, so the last thing that we're going to do, last but not least, is put our pattern paper down with our flaps. And like I said, I'm going to go back and I'm going to put pattern paper on the rest of this. And I will show you where we're at as we go along. But I don't want to take the time to do the pattern paper on camera because it takes longer than I want it to for the video, and as long as we get the measurements for the page and where we want to be putting our pages down at. Pull this up just a little bit. Just want to make sure, I'm trying to make sure that I'm staying away from this inside piece so that our page will turn easily, that we won't have any issues. All right, so that's that page. Then we come to this page over here, and what I'm going to be doing with this is I'm going to put this down as the base to this page, and this is going to go over the top of this page. And this is cut at, this is cut at 7 3/4 by 7, and then it's scored at 1/2 inch, so this would make this 6 1/2. So I'm going to glue this down to this. And again, I could have glued it down right on there and then put the paper down on top of it, but I just thought this would be easier because it would hold it and pull it all together. So then I'm going to put this down. I'll give you the measurements on this pattern paper. I think I know what it is, but I want to make sure before I tell you. So let me just measure it right after this. All right. So our pattern paper underneath here, pretty green, isn't it? Isn't this just beautiful? I love that green and red together. Pattern paper. This is measured at 7 7/8 by 8 3/8. So that's going to come down here. One of the things that I'm going to do is I'm going to round the corners on this. I think it'll make it look a little bit more finished. And I'm going to round them with my bigger rounding punch, and then when I put pattern paper on, I'm going to use my medium rounding corner rounder, and then that will help to set that off. The other thing that I'm going to be adding to this is these little pockets down here at the base, and they are cut so that they can fit side by side on this paper, and then they're going to fold down onto the top of these. So the pockets, there's 2, and I cut them at, well, this is 4 7/8, but you certainly could cut this, you know, at 4 3/4 or you know, at 5, and then score the 1/2 inch on either side. And then this is by 3. So I wanted a 2 1/2 inch pocket here. So I would make this probably, you could make it 4 3/4, and that'll fit nicely across there. Score a 1/2 inch here, score a 1/2 inch there. You miter your corners on those, and then make sure that when you put these down, that your bottom tab is to the or yes, on top of the side flaps. And I'm going to put this all the way over to the side of the paper. Put that down. And then we've got our other one right here, and I'm going to do the same thing. It's exactly the same size as the other pocket, so 2 pockets. I wanted to cut these so there was a little bit of room on that side and on the bottom, both sides. So So really, if you cut it at 4 3/4 and then scored a 1/2 inch on either side, it would probably work very well because you get a nice slit in between there. So really what ends up happening is that your pocket is 3 3/4 going across, and then 2 1/2 upwards. So if this is 3 3/4, your pattern paper is going to be 3 3/4, 3 5/8 by 2 3/8. So that'll be your pattern paper on there. And we are going to put a small magnet in there. I'm not going to use one of the big ones. I think I want to use one of the littler ones. Of course, I don't have any in front of me. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Yes, I do. So I'm going to because of my other magnets, this little guy wants to slide down. I'm going to try to hold it right there though, because this doesn't overlap too much. And I didn't want it to overlap all the way either, because I wanted it to be able to show the pockets on the bottom so that it gave it a little bit more interest to the page. All right, put that on there. We're going to bring this down. And we've got that. The one thing that I'm going to be careful of is when I put my pattern paper on the back here is just to cover this. I would have liked this up a little bit further and this also down a little bit further so the pattern paper can go around it, but I may just cut the pattern paper a little bit bigger to satisfy that part of the album. Then on this page, what I'm planning on doing is putting this down with, I think I'm just going to do, I was just going to do a small flap. Or was I going to do, listen to me. I think what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to put this down flat with a small, no, I'm not going to do the flap. I think I'm going to put this down, and then I'm just going to put some photo mats along this page so that we can enjoy this pattern paper. That's what I was looking at, is I was trying to think whether I wanted it to be covered up or not. And the measurement size for this page is exactly the same as the other pages that, you know, full pages of pattern paper, just 1/8 of an inch smaller than the base page. So the base page is 8 by 8.5, so it would be 7 7/8 by 8 3/8. That's what your pattern paper should be. And just making sure that this can turn, that we're not too close to the spine. All right, and so we're going to end up putting some photo mats on here, and just to, I possibly will even pull out some of the ephemera, maybe to add onto here as well, but we'll see that in the final decorating. All right, so that's our next page is done. So for this page, these two pages, I should say, I have waterfalls that I made, and I thought they would make really nice complementary pages with each other, that I'm going to have one going down and one going across. That way, these small photos, I can have them face, you know, upright, and then these could be sideways or landscape. and see how that works. The other thing that I'm not going to do is I'm not putting pattern paper down right away, because I am getting a little bit to the end of my 12 by 12 pieces. And so I want to start using some of my cutoffs or scraps to cover these pages. But we're going to put these down because these are put on like a belly band. And that belly band was cut at, well, a little bit ruler challenged here. This was cut at 8 3/4, and then it was scored at 1/2 inch at the top and 1/2 inch at the bottom. And then I took and put flaps on going down here, 3.5 by 4. That's the size that these are. They're 3.5 by 4. So really they get cut at 4 by 4 because you want to score 1/2 inch to make the hinge. That's the size that's on this one, and that's the size that's on this one. And there is, I believe, 8 flaps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 9 flaps on here. So you'll need to cut 18 4 by 4 flaps, score at the top of it, and then that's going to go down right onto here on my book. And I'm going to put this so that it is, you know, there is some brown paper, and then I'm going to just run my pattern paper along down here. So I'm going to take this, and I want to be able to see where my page is. The other thing about this is then you can put pictures, or you can put a notebook or something behind it if you want to add more pictures to this waterfall in this album. If I don't like the way this looks, I can always add, you know, if it's too much brown, which I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be just fine because it kind of frames that section. And then I'm going to put this one down as well on this page. I am also going to, oh, I should pull that up. Darn. You know what? It's you know, when you do these things, it's like I forget these things once in a while. So I'm also going to put a flap to hold this down, and I'll probably use, you know, the magnet and everything on this piece as the same thing I will be doing for this side. So let's get this one down. And I'm only going to leave the center spot open for the bottom so I can put the flap on there. Just trying to make sure I can see where this is going. This one fits a little bit firmer to the page, or, you know, wider to the page, and that's because this page is, the height is longer than the width by 1/2 inch. So this one is going to will fit on here much more securely. Not securely, but with less brown all the way around it. So what we're going to do is maybe put some photo mats down here, pattern paper. I'm not 100% sure, but that's kind of what my plan was. So we've got both of these pages. This is the only other element, like significant element, that I'm going to be putting on this page. And then the only things that we have left to do is this page and the back cover. And once we've got those done, then we are well on our way to just finishing off the paper on the album, and also going through our walkthrough. And I will be doing something with the cover also, and possibly on the ends here. I'm going to see what I have left. So what I'm going to come back to show you what I do with this page and the back cover, and then I will go and use all the pattern paper and get that all done. And once I have that all done, I will do a walkthrough of the album. So for now, I'll see you in a little bit. Thanks. Hello crafters. Well, let's finish up this album. So what I'm going to do to finish this off, first of all, I put just plain paper on the back. And the reason why I did that is I just love this paper so much. I think it's just beautiful. If I do anything or add anything to it, I will add 2 small pockets right here. And I don't know, I'll probably leave this blank, or I don't know. I really like this paper and I don't want to cover it up. So on the other page though, what we're going to be doing is, I haven't done too many pockets on, you know, maybe smaller ones, but not bigger ones. So what I'm going to do is to put on here a bigger pocket, and we are going to utilize our tags to help hold some other flaps down. Basically though, I cut this at 9 3/8 by 4, and then I scored a 1/2 inch on either end and on this bottom side as well. And I'm going to put those this pocket right here, so we have a side pocket. Our other pocket that we have that's this lengthwise is on this side of the book, so I'm going to put it onto this side of the book, and we will get that down. And again, I am not putting my pattern paper down until I get the pocket down, so I can see I don't have to use as much paper to cover the whole page. And I'll show you what I mean by that, because I actually put some pattern paper down on one of my pages, and well, not one of them, but one that when we were off camera. Just want to make sure I get this on here straight. So there we go, we've got that down there. And then what we're going to be doing is putting some little flaps on this side. So I'm going to put them down here. And then when we put any tags on here, they'll hold these little flaps down so they won't, I don't have to use a magnet. But these little flaps were 4.5 by 4, so that the picture size can be 4 by 4. And it will give us a little bit of room here to put these down with a little bit of opening on the bottom here. I apologize, I've got to see that yeah. And then this one is going to go here, and we'll have it down a little bit from here, and then there'll be a small space between them. I'm just going to try to match those up the best I can. A lot of times when I'm putting things flat down onto the page like this, I don't miter the corners just because it's kind of a straight on type of thing. And so I don't worry about that too much. It's only when it's going into a pocket or something that I like to miter it, or if my paper is going to go over it and I don't want it poking out the top of it or the side of it. So with these, we have plenty of room. So that is our last page, really, for doing anything. I'm going to get some pattern paper to put down over here and to also match for all of these. I'm going to try to keep some of the green theme going here and here. But this is what I was talking about, is using up some scraps. This was a piece of cut off of one of my green papers, and then this is a border strip from the tags or the ephemera pieces. So I was able to cover this with that, and I'll do something similar on this side. I think I have the, yeah, I have the paper cut down for that. And I'm going to, I think I'm gonna, I may put some photo mats down that as well. So that's going to go on there. And I also, just to remind you, I do use my Distress ink all the way around the white, any of the white edges, because it's a darker cardstock. But yeah, so that just shows you a little bit about what I was talking about, is using up my pieces where, you know, different items are. Like, even if I wanted to, oh, it almost fits, but I'm going to take a look at what I have and see if I can't use up some of my scraps. So I really only have, oh no, I have more left than I thought. I just don't have a lot of the green left. So anyways, that's it, guys, for putting the album together. I've showed you all the construction of all the pages. Now it's just coming to really putting the pattern papers in and showing you about that. The one thing that I'm going to be doing here though too is, I told you I was going to do a flap for here. So I probably, let me just give you the measurements. This is going to be 6 by 6 by, probably 6 by 1. And then that flap will get scored at 1/2 of an inch and come up here. It'll be either 5.5 or 6, whatever. I usually just, so that I can make sure that it comes kind of to the middle of here. So probably 6 will be good. And I'll do the same size band for this side as well. So 6 by 1 inch, so that it's not too wide. I may even use a cut apart from the smaller, from my 8 by 8. If you have an 8 by 8, you could do that, or you could also use, if you wanted to cover that, you could also use one of these, the smaller ones here, and then just maybe cut off around here this border, and that would make it a little bit smaller and not overpowering to your mat or to your photo page. Yeah, so you could do that. Like, that might be nice to put on there, and just cut this part away, or just cut it down if you can, so that you have, I'll see if I can do that. And then if I can, I will show you that when we come back and I do the walkthrough. So thanks so much for spending all this time with me. I truly appreciate it. And I will be coming back with the walkthrough. Well, not coming back. I probably will go up first, and then the tutorials will be next. Thanks for subscribing and visiting me. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Thank you.